Hey there, storytellers. Imagine being part of a wedding so chaotic it makes a reality TV show look tame. Well, buckle up because this story is a roller coaster of red flags, meltdowns, and jaw-dropping moments. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. You won't want to miss more wild tales like this one. Let's go. It all started when my friend Dana, 29F, announced her engagement to Josh, 32M, a guy who was, by all accounts, a saint. Dana was still in college with me and roped a few of us, her closest friends, into being her bridal party. At first, I was excited. I mean, who doesn't love weddings, right? But little did I know, this would be less of a fairy tale and more of a dumpster fire. The first red flag came early. Dana refused to invite my best friend, who she claims to adore, because she thought we were secretly dating. Yes, you heard that right, dating. Apparently, in Dana's head, our friendship translated to lesbian lovers. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was wild how she jumped to conclusions. Spoiler alert, my best friend and I are not, nor have we ever been, romantically involved. Then came the dresses. Dana insisted on a specific designer for the bridesmaid dresses. Fine, I thought, until she dropped the bombshell that we'd each have to cough up $2,000 for them. $2,000 for a dress I'd wear once. Now, I'm lucky enough to have a steady job and some savings, but that's not true for everyone in the bridal party. Some of the girls were working part-time or relying on student loans. Dana didn't care. If you really cared about my big day, you'd find a way, she told us. The restrictions didn't stop there. Josh wasn't allowed to invite any single female friends unless they were blood relatives. Imagine having to explain to your childhood best friend that she couldn't come to your wedding because of your fiancé's insecurities. But Josh, ever the peacemaker, went along with it. And then there was the bridesmaid who didn't drink because of her religion. Dana decided that meant she was pregnant and announced it in front of her parents. The poor girl was mortified, and her parents, who are super conservative, almost kicked her out of the house. When the bridesmaid dropped out of the wedding, Dana acted like the victim, whining about how people were abandoning her. Oh, and did I mention the destination bachelorette party? Dana wanted us to cancel our family holiday plans and spend thousands more to fly out to some tropical resort. Most of us said no outright. I told her I couldn't take time off work, and others had similar reasons. Dana huffed and eventually dropped it, but not without passive-aggressively calling us selfish for weeks. By the time the wedding day rolled around, we had already endured months of drama, tears, and tantrums. But little did we know, the worst was yet to come. Ready to hear what happened on the big day? Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. The day of the wedding arrived, and you could practically smell the tension in the air. We all showed up early to the venue, a gorgeous chapel that, ironically, was way too serene for the chaos brewing inside. Dana was already in full meltdown mode when I arrived. It all started with the flower girl. The poor kid had chickenpox, and her mom, understandably, had to cancel. Dana, however, was furious. "She's ruining my wedding," she screeched, mascara running down her face as she threatened to sue the child's mother. Sue. Over chickenpox. Josh, ever the peacekeeper, managed to calm her down, but the damage was done. The mood was officially wrecked. Meanwhile, the bridal suite was a war zone. Dana was barking orders at everyone like a deranged drill sergeant. The hair and makeup team looked like they were ready to quit on the spot, and one bridesmaid was in tears because Dana told her she looked bloated in her $2,000 dress. I did what any sane person would do in that situation. I avoided Dana at all costs. I volunteered to help outside the bridal suite, checking on the flowers, confirming the catering, basically any task that kept me far away from her wrath. At one point, I saw the maid of honor, Mo, Dana's future sister-in-law, pulling double duty as both therapist and human shield, trying to stop Dana from snapping at the staff. As the hours ticked by, the outbursts kept coming. Dana yelled at a groomsman for showing up 5 minutes late. She berated a server for placing the champagne flutes too close to the edge of the table. At one point, she even yelled at her own mom for not smiling enough. The tension was unbearable, and everyone was walking on eggshells, afraid to set her off. Things hit a boiling point when it was time for our final prep. Hair and makeup were done, the dresses were on, and we were supposed to take some photos. Instead, Dana announced that she needed some time alone to decompress. None of us argued. Honestly, the second she said it, we scattered like roaches when the lights come on. The ceremony was scheduled to start in 30 minutes, so we figured she'd use the time to pull herself together. I headed to the chapel, found a seat near the back, and spent the next 25 minutes scrolling through my phone. The Mo eventually came in and sat down next to me. "Everything okay?" I whispered. She gave me a tight smile. "She's calming down." "Good," I said, trying to sound optimistic. But then, 5 minutes before the ceremony, the Mo came rushing back in, her face pale as a ghost. "The wedding's cancelled," she whispered, looking like she was about to hyperventilate. My heart sank. "What happened?" She leaned in close and dropped the bombshell. Dana was having a quickie with Josh's uncle. Josh walked in on them. For a moment, I thought she was joking. My jaw hit the floor, and I stared at her in stunned silence. "You're serious?" I finally managed to ask. "Dead serious," she said, already standing up. "We need to get out of here before the real fireworks start." I didn't need to be told twice. I grabbed my purse, texted the 2 bridesmaids who had carpooled with me, and we bolted out of there like our lives depended on it. By the time we got to my car, the drama inside was already escalating. Through the chapel doors, I could hear raised voices. Josh shouting something about betrayal, Dana screaming about how it wasn't a big deal, and other family members joining in. We didn't stick around to find out how it ended. As far as I was concerned, this train wreck had derailed, and it was time to save myself. Little did I know the fallout would be even messier. The chaos didn't stop once we left. In fact, it only got worse. By the time we reached our cars, word spread like wildfire. Everyone had heard what went down. Dana and Josh's uncle, in a room together, caught in the act. The scandal was impossible to contain, and I honestly don't know how it stayed quiet as long as it did. The Mo, Dana's future sister-in-law, had to handle the fallout for hours. I later heard she had to physically intervene to stop Dana's parents from confronting Josh on the spot, as if somehow this was his fault. I spent the rest of the evening in a daze. I kept texting the bridesmaids to make sure they were okay, but no one could process what had just happened. Dana's meltdown didn't just end with the cancellation of the wedding, it spiraled. Word had it that Josh confronted Dana immediately after catching her with his uncle. And by confronted, I mean he flipped out. I can't blame him. I mean, his fiancée was caught having an affair with his own family member. The poor guy was devastated, and rightfully so. He told her in front of the entire wedding party that the wedding was off, that he was leaving her, and that he never wanted to see her again. He called her every name in the book, throwing around words like disgusting and betrayer. And the uncle? Oh, he got it too. Josh told him off in front of everyone, calling him a traitor and sleaze. The family was at war, and no one was safe. I was almost impressed by how much tension this single moment unleashed. But it wasn't just the emotional carnage that caused chaos. There was money involved. As if the wedding fiasco wasn't enough, Dana now had to face the financial consequences of her actions. Josh made it crystal clear that Dana would be footing the cancellation fees for everything: the venue, the catering, the dresses, and even the deposits for the honeymoon. He wasn't about to let her off easy. Dana's parents, looking like they were about to have a heart attack, backed Josh up. In front of the whole room, Dana's father told her, "You're paying for all of this on your own." I'm still shocked by how public everything got. The entire wedding party had been witness to a family meltdown of epic proportions. As if that wasn't bad enough, Dana's attempt to salvage anything crumbled when she picked up her phone to make a call that night. You won't believe what happened next. Later that evening, I was sitting at home, processing the sheer magnitude of everything that had happened. That's when I got a text from one of the bridesmaids. It was a screenshot of a call she'd received from Dana. Apparently, Dana had the audacity to call each of us, yes, every bridesmaid and the Mo, to demand that we chip in $5,000 to help cover the cancellation fees. Yes, you read that right. She expected us to bail her out. It's your duty as my bridal party, she allegedly told one bridesmaid. And if that wasn't insane enough, she actually had the nerve to tell us that we were responsible for the mess she created. Let me paint the picture. Dana, who cheated on her fiancé with his uncle after accusing people of being selfish for not putting her wedding first, was now demanding our money to fix her mess. I don't think I've ever been more disgusted. I responded immediately, making it clear that I was done with her. Lose my number, I typed, then blocked her. That wasn't even the worst part. I later found out that this wasn't a one-time thing. Dana had called everyone, except Josh, of course, to try and get money for the wedding cancellation. But no one budged. Everyone, from the Mo to the bridesmaids, flat out refused. And here's where it gets really juicy. Dana's life unraveled fast. The next day, she showed up at one of the bridesmaids' houses, uninvited, at 10 p.m., banging on the door. "You can't send me away this late at night," she allegedly screamed, completely delusional. Her plan? To move in with her like nothing had happened. Of course, that didn't work. The bridesmaid had already told her no, but Dana wasn't hearing it. She was desperate. Her world was falling apart, and she was completely unaware of how badly everyone had turned on her. The bridesmaid had to call the cops to get her to leave. Dana was so out of touch with reality that she didn't even realize no one was willing to help her. The final blow? Dana was now facing not just the social fallout but legal consequences. Josh was suing her for the wedding costs, his sister, the Mo, was suing her for the dresses she had already bought, and one of the bridesmaids, who'd been wrongly accused of being pregnant, was now pursuing a defamation case. But the icing on the cake? Dana had apparently used Josh's uncle's credit card for wedding-related expenses, and now he was suing her for fraud. In a matter of days, Dana went from being the bride-to-be to being persona non grata with everyone. Her family cut ties. I heard her parents were planning to move to another state, taking her younger sister with them. As for Dana, no one knew where she was staying. Some people speculated she was crashing at a friend's place, but the truth was, it didn't matter. She was completely on her own. And Josh? Well, he's doing better. I checked in on him a few weeks ago. He's found a new place, surrounded by good friends, and has put a pause on dating. His heartbreak was real. He was with Dana for years, and she was his first love. But he's strong, and he's healing. He deserves better. As for the rest of us, we've distanced ourselves from Dana completely. The Mo and I, along with the other bridesmaids, are all hanging out and planning a trip to Disney next year, without Dana, of course. And yes, we've already agreed to divide the babysitting duties for the Mo's 7-year-old. A little fun and a lot of healing. What do you think? Could this wedding disaster get any worse? Or have you heard something crazier? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.